I'd like to first of all start by saying thank you for joining me today. I am very appreciative of you tuning in and listening to my voice. Welcome to Start of Nothing Special. I thought it'd be fitting to start this episode giving you a glimpse into who I am. I talk things through when I want to make sense of it. Typically, I will discuss it in depth with the people around me, people that matter, and then get all the different sides, different points of view. I've always been a very private person, and I've always kept my cards close to my chest. And vulnerability has always been at my comfort level. I only let people see what I want them to see. Everything else I keep to myself. So all the struggles, all the battles, or everything I've been through, people don't know about it because I keep it to myself, not someone that share or overshare. I thought to myself, how can I make sense of this? How can I make this something that is beneficial to me? And this podcast is a tool for me to unwrap a lot of my feelings and my thoughts and discuss it. I look beyond what is just in front of me. I overthink. That is something that I suppose as a man, be strong, be tough, get over it, move on, you'll be right. I was raised predominantly by my mother. I would class myself as a very sensitive person. In my friend groups, not your typical friendship groups, I want to be able to go to them and say, hey, mate, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what's going on in my life, and know that it's a safe place. I want them to also feel comfortable and safe enough to come to me and say, can we talk? I'm struggling, or I just want someone to listen. That's something that has always been very important to me. I have seen both sides of vulnerability. I have seen a vulnerable man through hardship turned into a very cold man. I've seen very cold men through hardship become vulnerable men. When do we ever get to take our armor off? When do we get to go home and just relax and be looked after and be vulnerable, to have that safe place? In my experience, there was never a safe place. My vulnerability was not taken care of. My vulnerability was not appreciated. It was thrown in my face. On a number of occasions, I've had it where the person I was seeing at the time would sit with people that don't know me, and they will share things that is completely untrue about me. They would sit there while people just say things, and they would not defend me. They would not come to my defense. They would not cut them off. That is what my experience with vulnerability has been. Vulnerability is a tricky one for me. I want to be vulnerable, but I'm afraid to tell you, because what I have learned and what I've seen has always been that vulnerability is not okay for me to feel. We say we want men to be vulnerable. We say we want them to be sensitive, but we don't nurture their sensitivity. We don't nurture their feelings. That's not very manly, crying. Well, that's not very manly, talking about your feelings. Society now has turned the word masculinity into something that's a negative, an insult. Masculinity is when you have responsibility for not just yourself, but for others. Masculinity is when you have integrity and you do the right thing or do what is right, whether someone's around to see it or someone's not around to see it. That's what I understand masculinity to be. Not that I've got big muscles, not because I've got a dick. Masculinity is being responsible for your family. Integrity, making those hard choices. That's what I understand masculinity to be. And that's what it is to me. My integrity doesn't change no matter who I am with or where I am. Taking responsibility, being a man of your word, looking after your loved ones, looking after your family, looking after your friends. That's what I believe, and that's what I strive for every day. The topic I've spoken about today is at the core of our existence. Men's health is, I believe, to be shrouded in silence and stigma. For generations, society has painted a picture of men as unyielding pillars of strength, resilience, and acceptance. We've been conditioned to believe that showing vulnerability is a sign of weakness, that to admit fear, pain, or to even struggle is to betray our masculinity. My attempt was to challenge this notion. I challenge the notion because I believe that true strength isn't in the absence of vulnerability. Actually, I believe it's the courage to embrace it. Vulnerability is not a flaw. It's not a shortcoming. It's fundamentally part of what makes us human. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open the door to authentic connections, to genuine relationship, to the kind of deep understanding that improves our lives. Acknowledging our vulnerabilities, we give ourselves permission to seek help, to ask for support, and just prioritize our well-being. Think about all the silent battles that many men have faced or are facing today. Think about that. Mental health, chronic illness, emotional pain, and just the simple pressure just to meet society's expectations. I know everyone listening know that a lot of these battles are fought in the shadows alone because we've been taught to conceal our struggles. We've been taught not to show it. We've been taught that's not okay. But what if instead of hiding, we choose to share our burdens? That's the point of this podcast. What if we recognize that actually asking for help is not a sign of defeat? It's a testament to our strength and self-awareness. Speaking openly about our vulnerabilities, we break down the barriers that prevent others from doing the same. It creates a ripple effect of courage and compassion. We build communities where men feel safe to express their fears, their feelings, their hopes, their dreams. We create environments where mental health is prioritized, where seeking therapy is normalized, and where emotional well-being is seen as a cornerstone of a healthy life. To every man listening today, I want you to know that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay not to have all the answers. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to need support. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to seek solace in the company of your friends or people that care about you. Your vulnerability doesn't diminish your strength. It enhances it. It will allow you to connect on a deeper level with those around you that care about you. And you live I believe, a more authentic and fulfilling life. Without sounding so dramatic, I would say let's redefine what it means to be a man. Let's all embrace vulnerability as a powerful tool for growth, for healing, for connection. Recognize that we are stronger together than we are alone. I urge you to take a moment to reflect on your own vulnerabilities and to consider how you can embrace it with courage and grace. With our current climate, guys, reach out to a friend. Look around you. In the news, you're hearing about it. Family, friends, neighbors, you're hearing of men unaliving themselves. Reach out to a friend. Seek professional help if you need it. Remember that we're not alone. I know it feels like that a lot of times, but we're not alone. Together, we can actually create a world where men are celebrated, not just for how strong they are, for their ability to be vulnerable, for their ability to be compassionate. That's my thought. That's my take on vulnerability. I tried so hard. It took me so long to really come up with a topic for this week's episode. And in my fear of trying to find the perfect topic, this was so painfully obvious to me because what I was afraid of was sounding incompetent. My mispronunciation of words, putting myself out there for everyone's judgment, because in doing this, now people will have an opinion on me and what I have to say. So I had to really look in the mirror. I had to really think about whether I wanted to do this, whether this is a type of vulnerability I wanted to expose or display. I sat down and I thought through, this is a perfect way to start. We're talking about something that I feel is very important. I feel like everyone struggle with this. So what better place to start than to discuss vulnerability? You are not alone. We are not alone. Let's look out for each other. Let's challenge each other. Let's ask more of each other. All the males in your life, celebrate them. Make them know that they are loved, that they are allowed to be vulnerable with you. They're allowed to share their feelings. that they are safe in your company. That's all I've got for this week. Again, I'd like to thank you all for listening. This isn't the end. This is just the start. We've got such a long way to go, and I really, really do look forward to the future. I'm really excited for this growth and this movement and this new chapter. This is, for me, this is my healing tool. As I've said before, if you have any ideas or any topics or anything you'd want to discuss, anything you want me to discuss, get on the socials. DM me and let's have a discourse. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. I'm Cairo, and this is Start of Nothing Special, aka Sons. You have a great week.